Hi, I'm Sarah Taylor and I am the technical editor for Simply Sewing magazine. So you may have seen these gorgeous hair bows all over the high street right now, but I'm going to show you how you can make your own. So the things we're going to need are 1/2 metre of fabric, ideally a light drapey fabric such as silk, satin or rayon, a small hair crocodile clip, a hot glue gun, matching thread and your basic sewing kit. So from our main fabric we are going to cut a bow piece. It's 35 centimetres by 20 centimetres. Then we're going to cut the tails and we'll need a piece that's 36 centimetres by 36 centimetres. And for the centrepiece it's 15 centimetres by 8 centimetres. Firstly, we're going to take our bow section and we're going to fold it along this long edge, right sides together, and we're going to pin and sew along this long edge here. So I'm going to take this to my machine and I'm going to sew it with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. So now we've sewn that seam, we're going to turn this through to the right side. And then we're going to press it so that this seam is central along the back. So we're going to bring these two short edges into the middle and then we're going to stitch along this section here using a wide zigzag stitch on the machine. To make the tail section, we're going to take our 36 centimetre square and we're going to fold it right sides together. We'll pin along this edge and this edge here. But what we're going to do is leave a small gap so that we can turn it through. So a gap of about 5 centimetres. So I'll take this back over to the machine and I'm going to set my machine back to a straight stitch. And again, with the 1 centimetre seam allowance, we're going to sew around, but make sure you leave that turning gap. So that's the gap we've left for turning. And what we'll do is we will snip off these corners just to make the corners lie smooth when we've turned it out. So just clip near your stitching, but not over it. And to get really nice sharp points, I like to use something like a point turner, or you can use a chopstick just to really push the corners out. Then we can take this over to the iron and press it so that all the seams lie nice and neatly. So then I've just threaded a hand sewing needle and I'm going to just do a ladder stitch just to stitch that gap closed. So we're going to fold this in half and find the central point and just mark it, and then draw a line from the tip of the triangle to that centre point. And then we are going to sew a line of stitching . And then as we pull on this thread, it will gather up and it will start to form the tails of the bow. So don't cut this thread, leave it as is. And then we'll grab our bow section and we're going to add it onto the stitching. So we'll do exactly the same. We'll just sew a long line of gathering stitches. And then we can pull on them to gather them together. And it might look messy at this stage, that's okay. We're going to cover it up with the centre section. So if you wrap the remaining thread around the centre, and you can just do a couple of stitches to secure that in place. And you can see it's starting to take shape now. Okay, now for the fun bit, we get to use the hot glue. So we're going to take the crocodile clip and we're going to glue the back of it on to the back of the bow. So you can choose which side you want for the back. And just pop a little bit of glue on there. And I like to put it on there, but leave the clip open just to make sure I don't glue it together. And then we'll grab the center section and right sides together, we'll place the long edges together and pin and sew along this long edge. So then we're going to turn this through, and then as per the first section we did, we're just going to iron that seam with the seam central on the back. So then we're going to take this and join the front sections together around the bow. So if we open up the clip and pop it through, and then we're going to try and stitch as close to the bow as possible. I'm going to cut 5mm away from that seam. And then this bit's going to be slightly tricky, but we are just going to turn the central section round to the right side so that that seam is on the back, just so that it looks nice and pretty. And there we go, we've finished. So there we go, a super simple way of making gorgeous hair accessories. To find more projects like this, head to gathered.how.